Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you never had to worry about debt? If you could sleep at night without the weight of accumulated bills pressing on your chest? Imagine for a moment the relief of living with financial freedom, without the constant fear of creditor calls, without the anxiety of payments that seem to never end. But, unfortunately, many of us have felt that squeeze, that suffocating feeling of owing money to someone who never forgets. The question is there a biblical, practical, and safe way to avoid falling into this cycle? What if I told you there's an ancient lesson, found in the scriptures, capable of transforming not only your finances but your inner peace, your trust in God, and your daily decision-making, guiding you to live with more wisdom, prudence, and freedom, avoiding the traps that debt places before so many distressed hearts and families broken by financial mismanagement? The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. This verse carries a deep warning that goes far beyond just money. It shows us that debt isn't just a numbers problem, but an emotional and spiritual prison. The practical wisdom here is clear. Avoiding debt means preserving your freedom and dignity, and living without the anxiety of being controlled by suffocating obligations. The contrast in the verse shows that there's a difference between those who manage their resources well and those who become slaves to other people's money. In modern life, with credit cards and easy loans, the warning is more relevant than ever. Spiritually, it invites us to trust in God, to plan, to live with integrity, avoiding shortcuts that compromise our peace and our witness before Him and the people around us. The story of the widow in 2 Kings 4:1-7 dramatically reveals the plight of someone trapped by the weight of debt with nowhere to turn. She approaches the prophet Elisha, her heart heavy and her eyes teary, explaining that the creditor was coming to take her sons as slaves because she couldn't pay what she owed. Her desperation was clear, but instead of giving in to her distress, she follows the prophet's advice: to use the little she has strategically and creatively, filling empty jars with oil until they are all full, turning scarcity into abundance. The emotion of victory, of hope springing up where there seemed to be no way out, perfectly illustrates Proverbs 22:7. Even when facing the risk of slavery through debt, wisdom, faith, and action guided by God can bring freedom, showing that small decisions, when guided by prudence and faith, prevent financial slavery and restore dignity. In practical life, applying Proverbs 22:7 means starting with concrete actions, creating realistic budgets, prioritizing essential payments, avoiding impulse purchases, and building financial reserves that act as a cushion in tough times. It also means learning to say no when the temptation to pay in installments for something unnecessary arises, developing emotional and mental discipline, and cultivating patience to wait for the right time to invest, buy, or start a business. In relationships and family, this translates to open communication about finances, joint planning, and mutual trust. At work, it's reflected in seeking growth, financial education, and opportunities that don't compromise the future. Every small choice made with wisdom strengthens character, reduces anxiety, and brings us closer to a life of freedom and abundance, where we are not servants of creditors, but faithful stewards of what God has entrusted to us, living with gratitude and prudence. Now, I want to hear from you. How have you been dealing with your finances and daily decisions? Comment below, share your experience or question, and let's grow together on this journey of wisdom and financial freedom. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and don't miss any content that can transform your life. And let's pray. Lord, teach us to live with prudence, to avoid debts that enslave us, to manage our resources with wisdom and faith, and to trust in you in every financial decision, strengthening our character and bringing peace to our families. May we always choose paths of freedom, security, and integrity, guided by your word, trusting that even in difficulties, your providence sustains, enlightens, and protects us. And